So in my video 189, I gave a very quick sketch, a rough sketch of many of the dates of composition for the text in the Hebrew Bible or Old Testament. And several people in the comments asked things like this. Could you see a visual representation of this? And I thought about going to MS Paint and like drawing up this really crap picture and then being like, here's your illustration. But I decided not to do that because I'm just not like in that much of a trolling mood this morning. And I actually found an illustration that I could share with you. And I think it also might be interesting because the dates in the illustration are very different, at least in some places, than the dates that I gave. And I think that does a good job of sort of showing diversity amongst biblical scholars about the dating of some of this material, and also sort of interesting where the dates in my original video and in this illustration overlap. So here we have sort of an illustration, or more like a two-column list. It's the best I got. This comes from the opening chapter of David Carr's Introduction to the Hebrew Bible. Carr's Introduction to the Hebrew Bible is the only introduction to the Hebrew Bible I'm aware of that attempts to organize its material according to when he thinks the texts were first composed, rather than according to how they appear in the Bible itself. So instead of the introduction going Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, etc., through the first books of the Bible, it instead takes on this very different order instead. In this far left column, we have our dates, and then in our center and right column, we have our significant historical events in black, and then in this reddish, purplish, weird color, whatever this is, we have either biblical books or pieces of those biblical books. The center column is events and texts associated with the southern kingdom of Judah, and the rightmost column is events and texts associated with the northern kingdom of Israel. In the rightmost column there in the 12th century BCE, we have our oral Exodus, ancestral, and victory traditions. These would include things like the oral retelling of the Song of the Sea in Exodus 15, or the oral retelling of the Song of Deborah in Judges 5. In the center column in the 10th century BCE, we have our earliest Psalms and Proverbs, in addition to Jay's contributions to the primeval history. This would include Genesis chapters 2 through 4, half of 5 through 8, and also 10 and 11 as well. He places the covenant code here. That's Exodus 21 through 23. I think that's more associated with the northern kingdom, but that's fine. He also places the Song of Songs and Ecclesiastes here, presumably for lulls. I have absolutely no idea why. We get a lot of the northern contributions to Genesis and Exodus in the 9th century BCE. We have our 8th century prophets there, Amos, Hosea, Micah, and 1st Isaiah. We have our 7th century prophets, Zephaniah, Nahum, and Jeremiah. We also have our first edition of the Deuteronomistic history, that is Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings. In the 6th century BCE, we have our prophets Ezekiel, 2nd Isaiah, Haggai, and Zechariah. Carr is following something like a supplementary model here, so we also have the composition of the rest of the Pentateuch. In the 5th century, we have the Nehemiah Memoir, that is the first-person sections of the book of Nehemiah. A lot of things come together in the 4th century. We complete the Pentateuch, Isaiah, and Psalms, and the third-person sections of Ezra are composed. 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther are all really late by my estimation, but Daniel is exactly where it's supposed to be. I hope that helps.